Hey everybody, I'm Cinnamon Cooney, your art Sherpa, and today I'd like to show you how to draw a nose more realistically. Even if you draw terrible noses right now today, I can show you some tricks and some methods to get better on your paper right now. So get your pencil, get your paper, come back and meet me at the easel. We're going to draw noses from the front. So I really think that no matter where you are in drawing, you can always get better, you can always improve. And I want to show you some things that you might be doing as a new artist and ways that you can improve them even today. So let's look at how, as a very new artist, we might draw a nose. I've seen a lot of noses online. I have seen the sideways nose, right? Where somebody's doing a little sideways nose and they get kind of confused online. And I have seen, I like to think of this as sort of like a flower. And I don't think there's anything just awful about these noses. I think they kind of remind me of cartooning, but there's some stuff that we can do right now to make these look a ton more realistic. So one of the first things to think about is that you don't really have hard edges on noses. You have shadows and you're always just doing values. So what I like to do when I'm doing a nose is start with about a quarter size circle, just very lightly. And then I'm going to come to the side here and up from the bottom and add two smaller circles. Once I have those, it's real easy to start thinking about putting in my nose. Depending on where you place these circles and the size of them, you can get a lot of nose character created. So come underneath here and just follow this line a little bit and around the edge. This gives you that first shape of the nose. Now, in general, I'm not big into erasing when I'm drawing, but for this one bit, we're going to do that. Now that we have that sort of set in, I know that I have a bridge of a nose. I'm going to do this very lightly because really I'm going to want to just show the shadow, the shading of this space on the bridge, right? And where the nose starts to curve to the eyebrows in here is the shading and the shadow of the eye. Underneath here, you can come along this nostril line, bring a little hook down and curve in for the nostril. You can do the same thing here, curve in for the nostril, right? And I don't know if you know this, but there's a little divot underneath a nose that leads down to the lip. And I like to think of it almost like a little tie shape. And already you're making improvements over how you were seeing the nose like that. Now, nostrils have thickness. And so I'm going to start adding a little bit of a shadow coming around here. As it comes up the nostril, it's going to get lighter and it's going to be darker. One thing that you can do to improve your drawings is not use your finger to blend and use just your pencil, because you can always darken up your pencil. You can do soft kind of little curling colors. You can do back and forth. There's a lot of textures that you can have. Inside at the upper edge of the nostril is going to be your deepest shadow on your whole nose, right there. And it's still going to have a shadow, but it's going to be lighter as it comes down. And then I was like, if you have overhead lighting, there's generally a shadow cast down from the bridge. And a similar set of lighting is going to start happening over here. So I bring the nostril down and just start adding the little shadow that's being cast under the nostril. Just looking for those. When you're looking at objects, try not to think of what they are, but just try to think of the shadows that they cast and the way that lights and darks play off of them. It can help when you're practicing your drawing to use black and white references to help you see the values while you're getting stronger at it. And you can get better at this. Also, just at the top. And then we need to shade a little bit, but not so deeply. Right here, casting a bit of a shadow down. See, just underneath. Just lightly. Right. And I know I'm going to have one down in my little divot. I'm going to darken this shadow a bit, just right under the bridge. See? And we're doing just right under the bridge. Under the tip of that nose right there. This is actually the bridge. So I'm just darkening the lead where I want to create shape and form. Now I know I like to put a little shadow right here. I'm going to just start softly creating the shadow line here along the bridge of this nose. And try to remember that it's going to fade because the light curves around. So give it the least hard line that you can. And that's going to happen as you practice, as you get better at doing your very soft pencil work. Right? Because you're just saying, hey, there's a slope here. Right? You've always got blenders if you're having trouble blending with just your lead, and having trouble blending with just your lead is generally about the softness of the pencil. This is a 2B Faber-Castell, so the 2B means that the lead is a bit softer than, say, a school pencil, but you can do this successfully with a school pencil if that's what you have. And if what you have is lined paper and a school pencil, you can still learn art, so don't let that slow you down. Just keep shading this. Just softly as you can. I'm going to darken the shadow right here. Just imply that there's a dark, because that's the corner of the eye coming up, isn't it? Now, one of the shadows that a lot of people don't know happen are along this front of this nose. And I'm just taking out those lines I don't need. Come right here. I want a little bit of a light at the edge, but along this you've got to curve this down. You need to create that shadow. Got some paint on my hands. Always have paint on my hands. Do you have paint on your hands ever, or graphite? Everyone can just tell you're an artist. It's because you get all the art still on you from the day. I'm gonna just lightly shadow that there. Just, and then maybe another little stronger shadow right here. See, already doing better. Casting around the edge and the shape of the nostril. Just trying to tell the story. Strengthening that shadow. Right under here. Blending that right here. Just every time we look at it and observe it a little bit, we improve what we see. And this isn't about changing everything in one day, but this is about changing maybe 2 things, 3 things that you see today. Maybe you get a little better at blending without, using an eraser or blender. Maybe you get a little better about seeing the shadow structure down here. Doesn't really matter. Just be like, I'm just gonna, a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm definitely going to darken that right there. See, it's just coming up, isn't it? I like to take a little of the shadow down into this space to really define that structure. So hopefully, seeing the nose a little differently is a lot easier for you. My advice is look at a lot of noses, try to move the structures around, play with it. There's just not much between you and a more realistic nose. Once you know about how a nose is built, the structures, and to look at the lighting, you can go out and look at all kinds of noses on the internet and keep practicing. I know if you practice, you absolutely will get better. Definitely send me your pictures. I'm excited to see them. Keep drawing, keep arting, be good to yourselves, and be good to each other. And I want to see you at the easel really soon. Bye-bye.